Hi everyone, welcome back to Discover and Learn, and I am your communications coach or an English coach. We all know vocabulary is very important to learn a language, right? Every language has its own vocabulary, whether it is your mother tongue or any other language, English or Hindi, etc. Right? Every language has its own vocabulary, and that vocabulary you have to learn, because unless and until you don't learn the vocabulary, you will not be able to speak, right? You will join those vocabularies to make a sentence. And if you don't know the vocabulary, you will not be able to make sentences. So that is one thing we have to keep in mind. We have to collect vocabularies. We have to have a command on the vocabulary, whichever language we want to learn, whether it is a French or a German or any other language, right, or an English. So we have to have a command over the vocabulary first. So how do we have a command over the vocabulary? There are lots of techniques by which we can have command over the vocabulary. When you're reading, when you're listening, when you're watching something, just focus on the words. See how it is spoken, what it means, what is the context, how I can or we can use that word in our own sentences. So you have to try all these combinations, right? So as to get hold of the vocabulary. And that is why focus is very important. When you're listening, when you're reading, you are watching something, you have to focus on the words spoken, on the sentences which are spoken, and whether you are able to understand it or not. That is very important. Okay, apart from this, another very easy or shortcut method is the idioms and phrases. There are lots of idioms and phrases in English which can help you to improve your English speaking skills or improve your everyday English. Phrases are very simple. You can even start speaking with phrases also, right? Like for example, when you meet somebody, you say, "Hi, how are you?" This is a phrase which you have to memorize, nothing else. You don't have to add anything or subtract anything. So you don't have to worry about the sentence. So, "Hi, how are you?" is a phrase, right? "Thank you so much." Another phrase, right? "How are you doing?" "What's up?" So these are very basic, simple phrases which you can memorize to start speaking in English. There are lots of phrases which we can use in different situations, which I take up every week. Once in a week, I take up all these things. So today also, I'm going to take up some idioms and phrases which can help you to start speaking in English. Okay, so I'll be taking up 20 to 25 phrases and idioms in this session so as to improve your English speaking skills. Okay, so let's start with idioms first. The first one is hit the nail on your head. Hit the nail on your head, which means say exactly the same thing. Like I'm thinking something and somebody else spoke about it. So I'll say you've hit the nail on the head, right? For example, if somebody has given a suggestion or given an idea, and if that has come to my mind as well, so I'll say you have hit the nail on the head with this idea or with this suggestion or with this answer. Okay, so this is how we use it in our own sentences. Hit the nail on the head. Say exactly the same thing, what the other person is thinking. Next is keep your fingers crossed. We always use this word. Many a times it is very commonly used, guys. Keep your fingers crossed, which means hope for the best or hope for good luck or hoping something to be better or good luck. And in that situation, we say this phrase or an idiom, keeping your fingers crossed. For example, keep your fingers crossed for the results. Keep your fingers crossed for my result. Okay, or for my interview or for my selection. Whatever, something you have given, something you are waiting for. And then that's why when you say keep your fingers crossed, like hoping for the best, hoping for something good. Okay, another one is get the ball rolling. Get the ball rolling means start something or to start something, right? For example, let's get the ball rolling on this project, or let's get the ball rolling for this business. Anything you want to do, you are starting to do something, right? So you can just say it in this way. Let's get the ball rolling. Another one is hang in there. Don't give up. This is also very commonly used. Hang in there. Don't give up. For example, I know you're stuck. Hang in there, we'll find a solution. Okay, so this is how we speak about it. Next, give it a shot. Try something. Give it a shot. Try something. For example, I'm sure you'll be able to learn English speaking. Give it a shot. Right? This is how we can use this idiom. Okay. Another one is, which is very common, is it's not my cup of tea. You must have heard this, which also means I don't particularly like it. Not my cup of tea, which means I think, this is something which I won't be able to do, or it's not of my liking. That is what we want to say about something when we use this idiom. It's not my cup of tea. English speaking is not my cup of tea, right? At times we start feeling it, right? We just tend to give up and we say that, I think English speaking is not my cup of tea because I'm not able to do it. Okay. So that is why we start saying this. Next, go with the flow, which means accept things as they happen. Go with the flow. What is happening, whatever is going on, just go with the flow. Accepting things which is happening. For example, whatever it takes, I'll go with the flow to be successful in life or to achieve my goals. Okay, so this is how you can start using this phrase or an idiom. Go with the flow, which is also very commonly used. If you learn these idioms and phrases, guys, it will be very easy for you to describe something, describe a situation, describe your situation in English easily. But you have to learn this. You have to know the meaning. You have to remember these idioms and phrases so that you can speak. Right? I just want to go with the flow to learn this language. Okay, so you have to try using it in your own sentences. Next, in a nutshell, when we are having a conversation, we do talk about it in a nutshell, which means in short or in brief or briefly or in a few words. Okay, for example, in a nutshell, I enjoyed working with the team or enjoyed working on this project. Okay, or in a nutshell, it was a wonderful movie. Anything, or in a nutshell, the annual event was a success. Next, on the same page. Have a similar understanding or have a same understanding. For example, after the meeting, we all were on the same page. Let's discuss this idea so that we are on the same page. Okay, so anyhow you can use it in your own sentences. You can think about it. Start making your own sentences also along with watching my video. Next, keep an eye on, which means watch or monitor something. Keep an eye on. For example, I keep an eye on the news. Can you please keep an eye on my bag? I'll watch my bag. Or I'll keep an eye on the news means I'll follow the news. I'll see what is happening in the news, right? Next, a win-win situation. A situation where everyone benefits. Right? Like in a business or sports or in daily life also we can call it a win-win situation, right? For example, I bargained with the shopkeeper and it was a win-win situation for both of us. I bargained with the shopkeeper and it was a win-win situation for both of us. Right, which means I bargained on something and probably he also agreed on that, but it was a win-win situation for both of us. Right, so you can start using these idioms and phrases in your own sentences, guys. It is actually going to help. And these are very commonly spoken, guys. It's nothing out of the box. Start using this, start including this in your sentences and conversation to sound more fluent in speaking in English or like a native English speaker. This will help you to improve your English speaking skills basically. Now let's come to some everyday phrases which we can use while we are having a conversation with people in English. When we are listening to somebody and somebody has said something to us about his plans or anything else, right? So we just reply to them saying, that sounds great. That sounds great. If somebody has made a plan or just saying something to us about the person's achievement or something, success, we say that sounds great, which means you're showing enthusiasm, right? Like, for example, next weekend, let's go on a staycation. And then after listening to this, I'll say, that sounds great. Okay, next. I am sure about that, which means I don't have any doubt. I'm sure about that. For example, if somebody has said that the meeting was quite successful, I am not sure about that, which means you have doubts. Okay, for example, if somebody has said, do you think the meeting was successful? And then I replied saying, I am not sure about this, which means I have doubts that the meeting was successful or not. Okay, next. As far as I know. This means based on what you know basically, right? Or what I know. So I might say, as far as I know, the school annual event was a great success. It depends. Another phrase is, it depends, which means the answer changes according to the situation. I'm not sure. Depends on the situation. So if somebody has asked me, are you going to that event? I might say, it depends. If I'm not very sure that I'm going to that event or not. So I'll say, it depends. Okay, next. That's a good point, which means you agree to somebody's idea. That's a good point. If somebody is telling me something, giving an idea, and I like it, I will say, that's a good point. Okay, somebody has asked you a question and you've answered something and the person liked it, so he'll say, that's a good point. Okay, another one is never mind, which means don't worry about it or forget it. Never mind. Sorry, I forgot to call you about the meeting or inform you about the meeting. So I'll say never mind. If I'm informed about the meeting by somebody else, so I'll say never mind. Okay. Another one is by the way. Now this is very important. If you want to introduce a new topic or you're changing the topic, you will say by the way. And it happens many a time when you get blank, you're short of sentences, we should use this phrase to change the entire thing. By the way. For example, by the way, did you get the chance to try the new restaurant? Okay, just to change the topic, you have introduced something else by using by the way. Next, as soon as possible, which means as quickly as possible. For example, send me the mail as soon as possible. Okay, so these are some idioms and phrases which are very basic or very commonly used, and I've just made a list of it so that I can introduce these to you so that you can start using it, memorizing it, and coming up with sentences on your own, so as to start using it in your own conversations to sound more fluent and confident in speaking in English, and will definitely improve your English speaking skills as well. So guys, that's it for today. I'll see you in my next session. Until then, keep learning, keep speaking, keep watching, and keep exploring. And by the way, if you like my videos, do subscribe my channel, like and share my videos, write your comments in the comment section. What do you feel about it? And don't forget to press the notification icon so that you get all my videos on time, free of cost, and access to all the amazing content on this channel. Bye-bye. Take care.